Welcome to the It Factor. We're Jemmy and I, exploring a new blog post by Mr. Len Kaplan, CEO of CDML.
A managed service provider based in Queens, New York.
And they offer a whole suite of services, from network management, voice over IP and UCAS, to cybersecurity, compliance, IaaS, and cloud solutions.
And of course, Microsoft 365 and Azure solutions. So if you're a small business owner or you manage IT for a growing company, this deep dive is definitely for you.
Absolutely. We're jumping into a topic that I think every business owner feels, trying to translate legal jargon. But first, let's quickly define a few of those terms from the intro. When we say voice over IP or VoIP, that's just your phone service, but running over the internet.
Right. And connected to that is UCAS. That's UCAS. It stands for Unified Communications as a Service.
So that's bundling everything together.
Exactly. Your calls, your video meetings, team messaging, all in one package from the cloud. It's the whole communication stack.
Got it. And the last one was IaaS.
Infrastructure as a service. So instead of buying your own physical servers, you're essentially renting them. The storage, the networks, the virtual machines, all over the internet.
You rent the infrastructure. Makes sense.
It's a great foundation. And all this leads into the article we're breaking down from the CDML blog, which is titled AI Tips and Tricks, Using AI to Understand a Legal Agreement.
Okay, let's get into this because everyone knows this pain. You get handed, a 40-page contract?
Or a vendor NDA, a service agreement.
And it's just so dense. It takes forever to read. And you're left with this nagging feeling of what did I actually just agree to? You just want the bottom line.
And that's exactly the problem the article tackles. These modern AI tools, we're talking ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, Claude, Gemini, they offer this really tempting shortcut.
The shortcut to understanding.
Yeah, they can translate that, that really complex legal language into plain English. They can summarize huge documents in seconds, use the right way. They can cut down review time dramatically.
But there's a huge but here, isn't there? The source brings this up right away.
A massive one. This speed leads to two big dangers. The first is a major confidentiality risk.
And the second?
The second is what we call false confidence. So the whole point of this deep dive isn't to scare you away from these tools. They're incredibly powerful.
It's about how to use them safely.
Exactly. How to use them for efficiency without creating a new liability or, worse, a data leak you could have prevented.
Okay, so let's start with the good stuff. Where does AI really shine here? Because for a business owner who's short on time, this feels like a superpower.
It really is. It excels at pattern recognition. A human can take hours, just skimming for certain phrases. But an AI can give you a readable summary in minutes. And more importantly, it's like a spotlight. It flags those really key high-risk clauses that can bury a business.
Okay, give me some examples. What kind of high-risk clauses are we talking about?
We're talking termination clauses, how you get out, how they get out, liability limitations, which is all about who pays when something goes wrong.
The auto renewals that always get you.
Oh, yeah, renewal periods. And of course, indemnification, who has to protect who from a lawsuit. These are the parts with all the financial weight, and AI finds them instantly.
And it's not just finding them, it's also clarifying, right? If I see a sentence that's completely incomprehensible, AI can just translate it for me.
That clarification role is priceless. And think about comparing documents. Your vendor sends back a revised contract.
Oh, that's the worst. Trying to spot the one tiny change.
Right. An AI can compare the two versions and show you exactly what changed, line by line, in seconds. It saves hours of work.
Yeah.
It basically tells you where your lawyer needs to focus their attention.
So it's the perfect assistant, as long as you keep it on a very, very tight leash.
That's a good way to put it.
Let's talk about that leash then. Security. The CDML article really hammers this home. I can't just paste my sensitive contract into a public chatbot, can I?
Absolutely not. And this is probably the most critical point of the whole deep dive.
Right.
The difference between public AI and a private, secure one.
So tools like the free version of ChatGPT or Gemini, what's the risk there?
The risk is that your data gets absorbed. If you upload a confidential contract, and the tool's policy says it uses submissions to train its public model,
You've just given it away.
you've essentially published your private business details for their model to learn from. You've lost all control over that proprietary information.
So step 0 is understanding the security settings of the tool you're using.
Yes, a secure environment, like an enterprise-grade Microsoft Copilot in your own company's system, offers data isolation.
Explain what data isolation means here. Why is that so important?
Data isolation means your documents, your prompts, everything stays inside your organization's digital walls. The AI uses your data to answer your question, but it doesn't use it to train the big public model everyone else uses.
Well, it's a private conversation.
Exactly. It keeps your sensitive legal and financial details from being exposed.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. But the article says even if I'm using a secure tool, I should still strip the data. Why? Isn't that overkill?
That is a great question. The guiding principle here, even with top-tier security, is to always limit your exposure. Think of it as putting on a digital disguise.
A digital disguise, I like that.
Yeah, you have to remove all the identifying information, take out the company names, the pricing, the addresses, definitely any signatures.
Why, though, if it's already in a secure box?
Because if there's ever an audit or if a mistake happens and a service isn't compliant, the data that got exposed is basically meaningless without all that context. You're minimizing the potential damage.
Okay, so we sanitize the data. That's crucial step one. What's step two for limiting exposure?
Step 2 is about scope. Be surgical. Don't upload the entire agreement if you just have a question about one specific clause.
So if I'm worried about the section on, I don't know, liquidated damages.
You paste only that section, nothing else. Again, you're limiting what the AI even sees.
And crucial step 3 is about setting expectations.
Yes, and this is about what you ask it to do. You should ask the AI to explain language. You should never, ever ask it to interpret legal enforceability.
So its output is educational material.
It's a high-quality summary. It is not legal advice. The second you need a final call on risk or compliance, that is always a job for your human lawyer.
Okay, this is so practical. Let's turn this into a step-by-step for everyone listening. The CDML article has a great guide for this. Step 1 is preparing the content.
Right. Strip the names, isolate the section you need.
And step 2 is defining the AI's role. So you actually tell it what its job is.
You do. You set really clear boundaries in the prompt itself. You're giving it a job title and telling it what it's not allowed to do.
So you'd start the prompt with something like, you are an assistant explaining legal language in plain English. You are not providing legal advice.
That clarity is absolutely vital. It focuses the AI's response, and just as importantly, it reinforces your own role and your own accountability in this process.
Which leads to steps 3 and 4. Asking specific questions. I think a lot of us just ask, is this contract okay?
And that is a terrible question to ask, because you're asking it to take on legal liability, which it can't. You need focused questions that get you factual explanations based only on the text you gave it.
Give us a good example from the article, a powerful, focused question.
Instead of that vague stuff, try something like, summarize this termination clause in plain English and list the specific reasons the vendor can end this agreement.
So you're forcing it to be objective.
4, list all the obligations placed on the customer in this section. Super specific. And the article also says to ask about risks, not conclusions. Don't ask if a term is fair.
What should you ask instead?
You ask what risks are commonly associated with this type of clause. Or even better, based on this paragraph, what 3 questions should I ask my lawyer?
So you're using the AI to help you ask better questions of your actual counsel.
Now you've got it. That's the whole game. The AI helps you escalate issues intelligently, which is step 5. Validate and escalate. The human is still in charge.
You use the AI's output to have a smarter, more efficient conversation with your legal team. You're saving them time, which saves you money.
And you're not just replacing your own accountability, you're accelerating your understanding.
So even though the output can sound really authoritative, what are the big pitfalls here, the dangerous assumptions people make?
The biggest one is assuming the AI output is complete or 100% legally accurate. It operates on probability. It might miss some tiny nuanced detail that a human lawyer with 20 years of experience would spot immediately.
So you can't just trust the bullet points it gives you.
No, because it might be missing the one bullet point that could bankrupt you.
What about using the summary to negotiate? If it's 95% accurate, that seems good enough to start a conversation.
That 5% is the trap. You should never use an AI summary in a negotiation without getting it verified first.
Yeah.
If you start quoting an AI summary that has a subtle error, you're setting yourself up for real trouble.
And the ultimate pitfall is just treating AI as a substitute for a lawyer.
That's the core message. And remember, if something feels off to you, even if the AI didn't flag it, trust your gut. Escalate it. The legal responsibility at the end of the day is always yours.
So the goal is to get clarity and speed, but not to delegate the actual responsibility. It's a mix of AI efficiency, human judgment, and legal oversight.
With strong data governance holding it all together. And that's where a company like CDML Computer Services comes in. For a growing business, you might not have the in-house expertise to set up these secure boundaries.
So they help you build the safe sandbox to play in.
Exactly. They help you define safe AI usage policies for sensitive documents so you don't make a mistake. They help you pick the right tools, like the right Microsoft Copilot subscription, and then configure it correctly for security and compliance.
So it's not just buying the software, it's building the secure walls around it.
They set up the Microsoft 365 environment to ensure that data isolation is rock solid, which is critical if you're dealing with things like HIPAA or other regulations.
And then they train your team on how to use it safely within those walls.
That's the final critical piece. They integrate these AI workflows and train your staff on responsible, compliant usage. It's all about enabling innovation, but doing it securely.
This has been an incredibly helpful deep dive into Mr. Kaplan's article. It really lays out the risks and the rewards.
Well, if you think about the big picture, this is only going to become more common. But the speed of the AI has to be balanced with human caution. So here's a thought to leave you with. If AI makes contract review 10 times faster, are you just going to use that saved time to review more contracts carelessly? Or are you going to use it to focus your human expertise on the few critical items the AI found? Our accountability really depends on that choice.
A great thought to chew on. If you like what you heard and found this useful, please click that thumbs up button.
And to read more insights like these, we invite you to visit the website at https.cdml.com and subscribe to the CDML blog. New posts come out every Tuesday and Thursday.
Till next time.